Alright, we're gonna jump right into it because I'm gonna make a cringy intro if I talk in the beginning. Oh gosh, I already know I would have. But this is my boy Adrian. We're gonna give him like a low burst taper, I would call it. Kind of like what Kevin Gates would get or something like that. We're gonna do a little bit of beard work on him too. He barely got his beard, so I mean, hats off to him, I guess. He's gonna hate me for saying that. But yeah, he barely got his beard. He wants to go about just the same length all around the beard and whatnot. So what I'm doing here is I'm just gonna start out with my first guideline, my first bald guideline. Usually I want to start a fade like this. I usually do tapers like this just because it's more simple. This is gonna make a really harsh line if you're doing this for a fade. This is why I like to do tapers like this, because it's just in one area, one simple area. So right here I'm coming in with no guard, lever open. The difference between lever open and lever closed, if you don't know, is where the lever is actually all the way up or all the way down. If it's all the way down, it's open, and if it's all the way up, it's closed. Right here I'm just flicking out with it open and making sure that I'm not creating kind of like a second guideline. I'm more of flicking so that I don't create a second guideline, and you'll see when I use my next guard what I actually do. So right here I'm just more fine details, simple stuff. So right here I'm going to put on the 1/16 guard. This would probably be like your 0 on your purple Andis guards. Just check what the fraction is on the guard when you do use your guard. And yeah, so right here, as you can see, the second guideline, or the first initial thing that I did with the lever open, the first initial cut, right here I'm going about an inch higher than that, about the same width as the first one I made, but I'm more of a flick out motion again, because I'm not trying to create a harsh line in there. And that's what a lot of beginners do, and that's what a lot of beginners mess up at, is when they create that first line, they like to keep the line and see the line, but sometimes it's actually a good thing not to see the line. Alright, right here I'm gonna come in with my 1/8 guard, which would be your 1 on your Andis purple guards. But again, I'm just saying, make sure you look at your guard before you do use it. And so right here again, I'm going about another inch up, and I'm just flicking out a simple motion. And what I like to emphasize is try not so much to keep the guards in your head. Keep more of like this is what I'm trying to visualize, like visualize the cut before you actually do it. And that comes with experience, of course, but when you do it, it gets a little easier and easier. So right here we're gonna come in with clipper over comb. Now clipper over comb is really simple. I'm blocking the hell out of the way. Okay, well, I'm gonna get out of the way eventually, but clipper over comb is really simple once you understand what you're really trying to do. You're using the bottom hair as your guideline, and the top hair, the length on top, you're kind of using your comb as a guide, like as a clip, to take that bottom hair and that top hair and make them even. I'll come out with a more in-depth clipper over comb tutorial for you guys, but for now, if you don't know it too much, I would recommend just using another guard until you get to your highest guard. And right here at the bottom, I just close my lever all the way, and I just flick out a little bit towards that last bottom line, and it'll come out like a breeze. It's nothing. That line will come out like a breeze if you do the steps the way I did the steps. So now, as you can see, that bottom line is pretty much gone. Right now I'm gonna speed it up, time lapse it, just so you guys can get the idea of I keep flicking and I keep working on that detail work, even though I don't see too much. But use your mirrors and use what you can to adjust to whatever you have to adjust to. Alright, so now I'm coming back in with just touch-up work, easy touch-up work. I'm using the corner a lot to get that little guideline out. Now we're going to go to the back. My camera cut out for the beginning 2 steps, so it's basically the beginning 2 steps on the side, just on the back. Right now, I'm using my 1/16 just to get that little next step in there, if you want to call it a step. It's not really a step, it's more of just how you would naturally fade. Now I have my 1/8 on there, doing the same thing I did on the side. So if you're having trouble on your back tapers, usually you're having trouble on the side, and if you're not, then there's a reason you're not. Maybe the person's head shape is weird, not to gas on anybody's head, but some people have some really weird heads. You might have somebody with a weird fold in the back of their neck. Just the back taper is more for your consistency. See how consistent you are. So when you do a back taper on the back of the neck and you don't see too much blending going on, you see more of harsh lines and whatnot, it's probably because their head isn't consistent. So you have to work around that. You have to apply yourself around that, and that's really where you're gonna stand out a lot. So right now I'm coming back in with no guard open. Later on in the tutorial, you're gonna see that I did leave a little line, and that wasn't on purpose. It was just because I didn't check my mirrors enough during the tutorial. I'll get used to the whole camera tutorial thing sooner or later, but I do clean it up and I fix it, and you'll see that near the end. Now right now I'm flicking out to get that bottom line out. I have the lever closed, and I'm just flicking it out simply. Now with the shavers, when you do come in with the shavers for a taper, it's really simple to, people think it's really simple to just mess up, but realistically it's really hard, because the shavers will not cut the actual thick longer hair. It only cuts fine hair that you probably would get with a trimmer, or if you know clipper terms, a 5/0. Coming back in with my trimmers, coming in with the corner. Using the corner a lot is gonna help you, I guarantee it. Right now we're going to the other side, so I'm just going to speed this up. It's the same thing as the other side essentially. If you need any help with the side, just go back to the beginning of the video and just watch that first side. But this could still help you, even though it's a little sped up, but it'll give you another idea of what I'm doing. now we're transitioning to the back and the lineup process. Now, the best advice I can give you guys with lining up anything is to keep it straight and as consistent as possible. Follow the natural line that they have in their head unless they require you or ask you to push them back. Never push anybody back. I can't stress that enough, because I see too many lineups a day getting pushed back and whatnot. So just keep it consistent, keep it straight. I use a lot of the corner of the blade, except for that main cut that I made in the back. But when we get back to that part, I'll show you what I was talking about. Right there, that part is the part that you want to focus on using the full blade, and after that you can pretty much follow the curve of his head. Notice a lot too that I'm brushing the hair down quite often, because I'm trying to get it as consistent as possible. And when you brush the hair down and you lay the hair down, usually when somebody goes to sleep and they wake up and they have that hair sticking up in the back of their head or something like that, that's because their hair is so long and it can't lay down. So when they do lay it down properly, it will look similar to this. Now, front lineups, a lot of people are scared of front lineups. It's really a simple process. All you really have to do is start from the middle. Doesn't matter how you would start it. For example, like if I have them facing me, the whole chair facing me, or you can turn their head, even turn it toward you and make them look at you, and follow that straight crispy line that's already pretty much there. Adrian has kind of like bangs in a way, and he likes his hair to lay really flat. So I keep brushing because I know for a fact when he gets home or whenever he's gonna style his hair, you think you couldn't style his hair, but he's going to make sure he wants it to lay down. He's gonna make sure it lays down no matter what. So he's making sure it lays down. I have to make sure that when he lays it down, the lineup is definitely gonna lay down. So that's why I keep brushing and constantly brushing. So that happens a lot with kinky hair or people with more coarse hair. They like to have it laid down on the sides because it looks really weird when it starts to wave up, unless they want waves. But a lot of people don't. It's a really weird texture when it starts to wave up like that. And notice how I see right here, I have the blade flat against, and I'm keeping it straight and consistent. And notice that line that I was talking about in the back. You can see it partially right here, right above the first guideline I made. So basically the 1/16 would be perfect right there. Close it up, use the corners a lot, and you'll get that line out. And that's what I do further in the video. Right here I'm doing a lot of shave work or straight razor work, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people are scared of the straight razor, and I mean it makes sense. You can cut somebody's throat, you can really mess somebody up with this tool. So what I recommend is just keeping the blade flat and stretching the skin as much as possible. As you can see, I'm trying to get in comfortable positions. It looks like I'm damn near about to squat and become a damn caveman, but I'm really just making sure that I'm comfortable, because if you do 13, 12, 15, 25, whatever it is, a busy day at work for you, your arm and your hand and your legs are going to be stressing if you are not comfortable the whole day. So try to make sure you're comfortable and just have a solid positioning when doing any type of work, whether it be shear, clipper, anything. And there's the cut, my boys. Thank you guys so much for watching, man. I appreciate all you guys, all the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one for sure.